One saw, hopefully he did. Mason was the co-player of the week, third time he got it this year. He's the only player to get it 3 times this year. Game tomorrow night, number 10 Auburn, 6 o'clock, SEC Network. That'll turn over to Coach for a quick comment.
Obviously played pretty good basketball. Especially the second part of the game at Alabama, and have a big test Tuesday night, playing against a really talented team that's extremely well coached and plays really, really hard.
Yes, sir. Well, what are your thoughts on Mason being SEC Player of the Week again for third time? That's obviously pretty impressive.
Yeah, I think it's awesome. He's had such a great year, and it really started this summer. I mean, when I think about him at 6 in the morning getting shots up, the whole team didn't get up and shoot at 6 in the morning. I mean, he was a guy that was very consistent in his approach, and I think all of his hard work is why he's had such a jump from maybe where he was last year. The versatility that he's added to his game, not just a spot-up shooter, but his ability to create off the dribble, his ability to be a point forward now. He plays point guard as the game kind of goes on. Each night he kind of starts off at the 4 and morphs into our point guard. So he's it's awesome when a guy works hard and then his game elevates, which is what's happened with Mason.
Yeah, I was going to ask about Reggie Chaney's game. It looks like he had, 11 rebounds against Alabama. What do you think of that?
I thought his second half rebounding is just what we needed. I thought he rebounded in traffic, Pete. I thought he range rebound. I thought there were some really, really good things that he did on the glass. All conference play. He's been really, really good finishing around the rim. And then it was probably his best defensive job when we've gone to our switching game plan. He did a great job of walling up, going vertical. Kept Kyra Lewis in front of him, which I think is as hard a guy in the league to keep in front of you, and I thought he did a phenomenal job, again, defensively and on the defensive backboards.
Kind of had a rough start to the season with, I guess, a suspension and then a couple bad games, but how encouraging is it to see him coming along like he is?
Yeah, I mean, he's a guy that, gets shots up early before practice. He's had a really good attitude. I mean, I guess the thing that I've been most impressed with is just, his attitude throughout the entire season. He's, I'm sure there's been several games that he wished he would have played more or had more of a role, and he hadn't let it affect his attitude at all. I mean, he just comes in and works, and we need him to play big for us for sure.
How important is it to kind of get Adriel going so you kind of have that 1-2 punch with those guys where you don't have a drop-off if you have to make a move?
Yeah, I mean, Adriel was, he played so well, early in the year, and we need him to get back to that, spot where he's providing a ton of energy the entire time he's on the floor, not just in spurts. Adriel's got a unique personality in our locker room because he's a guy that's bubbly. He's a guy that attracts, good vibes. And so when he's playing well, I think his attitude becomes infectious in a positive way. Certainly we'd like both those guys to play well together, but we are a different offensive team when they're together. We're not as, we're not as cosmetically pleasing when they're both in there.
Yeah, Coach, according to some analytics I've seen, I think Mason is, top 10 in the country in fouls drawn per 40 minutes. Just what makes him so good at getting into the lane, drawing contact, getting free throws attempted?
Yeah, I mean, that's, I think that, with any player, you want, obviously you want guys that can shoot the ball from the perimeter, but then you want guys that can draw fouls. That's so important. And his ball handling, he can go left, he can go right, he can shoot the mid-range, he can get all the way to the rim and finish. He's just a versatile guy. I mean, we've seen teams try to go big on him. We've seen teams try to go small on him. And he's found a way to score the ball regardless of who's kind of been on him for the most part. And certainly drawing free throws helps a team in so many ways. Probably the general fan doesn't understand when you draw free throws attempted, it helps your defense because the other team's not playing in the flow of the game, and your defense can get set. And Mason's got the creativeness and the ability to to draw free throws just because he can be unorthodox as well when he puts the ball on the deck.
Eric, Auburn moved up to number 11 in the AP poll after beating Kentucky and coming back last week at Ole Miss. Kind of, what's your thoughts about the opportunity? Because you got to play one ranked team. Kentucky, tough game, didn't quite turn your way. This is another big opportunity for you. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you play a team that's top 15 in the country. Always a great opportunity. Playing them at home is a great opportunity. Having said that, I mean, they're ranked 11th for a reason because they're really, really good. They're really long. They're really experienced. When you start looking at their roster, obviously they lost a lot last year off a great team. And Coach Pearl does a great job. He's intense for an entire 40 minutes, and his team kind of takes on his personality. But they're old too. I mean, they got some guys that are have experience on their roster, and then they have a freshman that's just been incredible. Curl's done such a great job for them defensively. He's a really good defender. He does a great job of getting to the basket off dribble drives, and then they're an awesome offensive rebounding team as well. And they draw fouls. I mean, you look at the 44 free throws they took against Kentucky. That's a pretty big number.
The free throws, how concerned? Of course, that was their place. They may not get those calls here or on the road in general. Well, but what do you guys have to do to not put them on the line a whole lot?
Yeah, I mean, I think we got to be who we are defensively. It's not like we're going to come out and play a zone we have to do what we work on every day, and what we've been working on since the summer. And I don't believe in having 12 different defenses. I don't think you can be really good if you try to do 12 different things. And look, people know how we're going to defend. They know, we're going to play man-to-man defense, and we're going to aggressively guard the three-point line, and we're going to fly around and try to get defensive rebounds. But I think we don't want to take away our aggressiveness either.
But how's Isaiah Joe's knee doing? It looked like he was really limping on Saturday.
Yeah, he's going to be day-to-day probably for 2 to 3 weeks, and that's what it's going to be. He'll be day-to-day, and if he's able to play whenever that is over the course of the next 2 weeks, great. And when he's not able to play, we just need people to step up like they did against TCU.
I mean, how important is it to have him back?
I think for, with our roster, whether it's, Reggie, like we need a full roster. We're not a deep team. And so, but just as we saw in TCU, when a player goes down or is not able to play, then somebody else gets opportunities. So we just got to go day by day and see where we stand and see what our roster looks like.
With Isaiah, do you think about just shutting him down for a couple of weeks and seeing how that'll do, or is that just not a good option?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want Mark O'Neal to give me out of bounds plays. Don't want him to give me defensive schemes on how to play Auburn, and I'm not going to tell him anything about medical. I don't know anything about. I know my back's sore right now, and that's all I know medically. I can't comment or talk about any of our guys. I mean, if somebody's got a head cold, I don't know what that does to a player's energy. If a guy's got a bad ankle, I mean, it's kind of up to Mark. When Desi went down, I just say, is he ready or not? That's all. That's.
Have you guys done like an MRI on his knee to see if there's something?
Yeah, they did one.
So it's just the inflammation stuff.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. Okay. And then on Adriel, he started every game. I know he hadn't been playing as well. Do you just feel like, hey, make a lineup change? And, he's an older guy. He's been playing well. How did Adriel handle that?
Yeah, I think that I think all our guys want to play. You know, if you're used to starting and then you don't, I mean, I don't want to have a player be, oh, that's great, I'm not going to start. That's cool, coach. Like, I want a guy to want his minutes, so to speak. Having said that, every decision that we make is just based on what's best for the team. That's it. Who gets a shot after a timeout? What's best for the team? Who starts? What's best for the team? So, you know, but he's had a great year, and I think, you know, he didn't get many minutes last game, and, you know, we won the game, and you just move on, and then the next game's got its own new identity and new theme, and, you know, whoever played well at Bama doesn't mean they're going to play well against Auburn. Whoever didn't play well or whoever didn't get a lot of minutes, that doesn't mean that's how it's going to be against Auburn, because every game, like I said, has got different matchups and different needs, and so.
When you go back and look at the slow starts you've had the last couple of games, is there anything you can kind of pinpoint about why you've started slow? I know you've responded, but just the slow starts and maybe trying to change anything up there.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'd rather not call 2 quick timeouts. But, you know, sometimes, whatever, like, you know, you miss 3 shots and you screw up 2 defensive assignments and you're all of a sudden down 6-0. And you come down and miss another 3 and they go down and get a layup. Now you're down 8-0. Just got to get quality shots too. You know, it's sometimes you know you're going to miss an open shot, but you can't force shots to start a game. You just can't do it, especially on the road and especially against a team that can. Alabama scores against everybody. I mean, Alabama can score the ball. You know, I'd rather play well down the stretch though than get out to 12-0 lead and lose.
Going back to Mason, his craftiness, does he remind you of maybe a former player that you've coached at Nevada or maybe beyond?
I don't think so. I mean, he's just, you know, like we never thought he was going to be like a point guard type player for us. Like watching the film and stuff, I didn't think that he was going to, you know, be able to handle the ball in pick and rolls. And he got a few chances early, and then he did well, and then, you know, 1 or 2 pick and rolls in one of our earlier games turns into him handling the ball 5 or 6 times in pick and roll, to then him handling the ball in pick and roll 20 times, you know. But he's earned it, you know. It's not like we opened the season against Rice and said that Mason's going to be a point forward and we're going to run a lot of middle pick and roll and wing pick and rolls with him. He's created, you know, his own role through us experimenting like you always do as a new coach, and some experiments fail, and the Mason Jones with the ball in his hand experiment has not failed. It's been successful, and it's a lot of it has to do, most of it has to do with all the work that he put in the off season.
Eric, I guess a few years ago when you were playing, you played Auburn in the NCAA tournament. What do you remember about that? And I guess there's video of you hitting a big shot.
Yes, please go to YouTube. Okay, 1987 Hoosier Dome. If you go to that clip, they did not guard me. I have the audio. My buddy who put that out many years ago, I think he took the audio off because he liked me, because the announcer said that Auburn's game plan was not to guard me when I came in, and they are playing a triangle too, and there's no one within 100 feet of me. So I had 2 open shots and made 1 out of 2, and then my coach Egan yanked me. We lost.
Why would a coach take you out when you're 50%?
I asked myself that for the last 20-some years. I have no idea. Bad coaching.
Seriously, was that kind of a thrill? I know, you weren't a star, but, hit
Oh, yeah.
3 and then say
In the Hoosier Dome in front of 50,000 people or whatever. Indiana played right after us. We ended up losing, I think, by 2 or 3, but we had the starting point guard got the ball caught on his hip and made a layup, and they called traveling, and that was a game. If the coach would have left me in, I would have shot at 3 instead of trying to go to the cup, and maybe we would have won.
There you go. And then, you've talked a lot about the big crowd you guys have had on Tuesday night, 6 o'clock, and the same as Saturday at 3 or whatever. But what kind of crowd are you expecting? Because I think people, they're behind this team, and you guys just had a big road win, and the Auburn's coming in, and just kind of what are you expecting from the crowd and the atmosphere?
Yeah, I mean, I think anytime you play like a top 15 team in the country, like you can kind of feel the excitement in the air. And I think that our building, our fans are really smart. They have high basketball IQ, and I think that they enjoy watching this team play because of the effort that the guys are given. Again, I think that it's kind of our job to create the excitement because those are the performers on the floor. The guys we have to play well to get a home court advantage. If you don't play well, it doesn't help much. I mean, you got to play well, and hopefully we put 40 minutes together and we'll see.
Bruce Pearl, do you know Bruce at all?
Yep. Really good coach. Sweats a lot during the game. But, you just think about Coach Pearl's record wherever he's been. He wins, and he wins at a high level, and it's because his teams play really hard. And he's a great X and O coach. I've studied in the past, he's had great baseline out of bounds defense. And there's little things that maybe the general fan doesn't pick up on about his teams. They get their scores, the ball in the right spots, and I think he's one of the best coaches in the country. Or a polo.